Hi everyone, great to see you all. Thanks for coming. This is my Friday unwind class, which is designed to help you switch off from your busy week, and some different techniques to wind down and relax the body. And I'll show you a range of different things that include breathing, a little bit of acupressure, so using points from traditional Chinese medicine to calm the mind and soothe the body. Some restorative yoga, which is more sort of gentle resting poses, and then also some stronger sort of flow, because we do need to work the body as well. The big stretches are also a way that we can heal the body and reduce inflammation. There's lots of interesting research now around that. So there's a whole range of things that we're going to be doing in these Friday sessions. But first we'll start in a comfortable seat. So I would recommend sitting on something. I've got a little block here, you could use a cushion. And just come to a comfortable seat. You could be cross-legged or kneeling. You could sit on a chair, that would also work. And because it's the end of the week, because most of you, I think, are going to be very much engaged in sort of thinking, sitting at a desk, activities where you're more likely to be preoccupied or preoccupying the mind. So we want to kind of take that energy that gets stuck around the head and draw it down the body. So we're going to bring our hands palms down. And this is a gesture to help you ground yourself. So to bring the energy down the body. So pressing down quite firmly, sensing the quality of the flesh underneath the hands. So whatever it is you're pressing into, the knee, the thigh, just noticing how that feels. So immediately you're coming out of your head, your busy work, deadlines, things to do head, and into the body awareness. You can also sense the fingers, you can sense the sensation within the hands themselves. So not just the touch of the hand, but the feeling within the hand. This is an important and very useful technique, just deeply sensing the body. So we'll pause so that you can do that now. Maybe it's quite a warm day, so maybe your hands are feeling warm. So notice if there is a temperature. What is that temperature? Of course, there will be a temperature, but just notice what. Maybe you've got cold hands. That's something to observe too. And any sensation within the hand. So that could be a feeling of flow, a pulse, a vibration. Maybe they feel stiff or sore. Really listening to the hands. So this activity of feeling the body, the word is called introception, and which is different. It might sound a little bit like introspection, but it is actually quite different activity. So introspection, we're more thinking, going inward into the sort of wormholes of the mind. Introception is where we really engage in feeling the body, acute awareness of the body. And when we're in that state, we're not in our thinking state. And obviously the thinking mind has a great value, immensely useful, particularly at work, but we don't always want to be in that frame of mind. We want to be we want to be able to switch off. So this technique of just feeling the body. So we'll shift our awareness into the sitting bones now. We're going to sit back a little. Feel the weight drop down. So again, interoception, feeling the sensation of the sitting bones themselves and anything and what they're pressing into. So I'm on a block, you might be on the floor or cushion. So notice that as well. Really paying attention to our seat, our foundation. And then the other benefit of that is when we're relaxed and comfortable and sitting firmly in a committee to sitting, then it's easier to get an upright position. When we're fully sort of grounded, immediately we can kind of lift up a little bit in the front body. Maybe roll the shoulders back and down. So we're going to take our hands now and place them over the palms of the hands over the eyes. So this is a brilliant technique to help you bring your attention more deeply inward. The eyes obviously very, very active, especially in a work setting. We're looking, interpreting, engaging with the outside world. And I think about 40% of the brain is taken up with the visual functions. So when we're looking and we've got that sort of hard focus, intense focus, then our mind is going to be active and we want to calm it down a little bit. So again, a technique to switch off from work, and particularly as most people or many people these days, even when they have practical work, there's quite a big element of sitting at a desk. Even for me as a yoga teacher, I do spend quite a lot of time sitting at a desk. So place your palms over your eyes. Take a deep breath. Relaxing the gaze. You can close your eyes. Relaxing the gaze. We're going to slide our hands now. So the three middle fingers are just going to press over the eyeball itself, the eyelid itself, and also the tips of the fingers move up in towards the brow. I'll just come and show you a little bit. You can press gently down a little bit more firmly. And then release your hands. And just come back to hands on the legs, but this time the palms are up. So immediately it's slightly more open gesture. So the shoulders are opening a little bit more, the heart opening a little bit. Soften the hands, so there's no grasping in the hands. Just completely soften them and come back to that sense of the life within the hand, the inner hand, the subtle body, you might call it. The energetic body. So We're going to come to child pose, so you can put your block to one side and come to all fours position first. Really press into the front of the feet, knees wide, feet together, and then slowly we're bringing the bum back onto the heels, so it should feel really nice at stretching in the lower back. Keeping the arms quite active, so you can stretch your arms away, spread the fingers, press down through all the joints of the hands. And maybe reach further a little with the hands and press back a little with the bum. So there's a sense of two directions. Maybe you can reach a little more intensely with one hand and then relax it and reach a little more with the other hand. And then when you've got a feeling of really being stretched out, arms, sides of the torso, lower back, then you can bring your head down. And take a few easy breaths, really conscious breaths, but easy breaths, not forcing anything. Tuck your toes under now. We're going to come up into downward dog. So really, again, sort of engage those hands, press firmly down through every joint, toes tucked under, and then lifting up into downward dog. We're going to connect with our breath a bit more here. So bend the right knee, breathe in. Bend the left knee, breathe out. Bend the right knee, breathe in. Bend the left knee, breathe out. And breathing in and out through the nose here, unless you've got a cold or you're bunged up in the nose. Breathing in, bending the right knee, breathing out, bending the left knee. Now we want to take quite a wide dog here because we're going to move forward into a plank. So maybe move your feet back a little bit and then swing your shoulders over the wrists. So you can bring your knees down here, especially if your shoulders are quite tight. So we're going to feel the front body first of all. So press into the front of the feet if you're kneeling. And you want to really sort of pull up from the lower belly. So feel that lower belly area engage and a sense of movement of muscles, a sort of ripple of movement up towards the sternum. And then we're going to come all the way back into child pose. Add a little variation here. We're going to walk the hands round to the right, breathe into the left side. Walk the hands round to the left, breathe into the right side. Come back to centre. Tuck your toes under, coming back up into downward dog. Just reconnect with the breath here. Bend the left knee, breathe in. Bend the right knee, breathe out. So we're this simple technique is connecting the breath to movement so that we're beginning to reintegrate ourselves. It doesn't matter really too much when you breathe in, when you breathe out, you can get fixated by that. It's the sense of the breath harmonizing with your movement, or your movement harmonizing with your breath. So again, slightly longer downward dog, so you can swing your body forward into plank. So remember that the knees can be down. And we're finding those muscles. We're beginning to engage the muscles. If you need to tap them a little bit, feel the lower belly, ripple of sensation as you engage the muscles all the way up from the pubic bone, this bone here at the front, lower belly, all the way up to the sternum. And then let's see if we can add in a little grounding technique for the upper back. See if you can use that to intensify the muscle, feeling of muscles working at the front body. And then all the way back to child pose. We're going to take the arms round to the left, breathe into the right side. Move the arms round to the right, breathe into the left side. Come back to centre. Really engage your arms, so reaching away, you can make little claws even for a moment with your hands. Stretch the arms, the sides of the body, the torso, the lower back. And then we're going to come to downward dog. So flatten the hands, tuck the toes under, back to downward dog. So bend the right knee, breathe in. So it's this idea of movement and breath in synchronicity. So there's just, we're adding layers of intention, not just moving with mindfulness, but breathing with mindfulness. And then let's lift up the right foot. We're not necessarily going for a massive lift here. Imagine there's a boot on the end of your leg, and then you have to work a little bit harder to maintain the lift. So working those muscles in the leg a little harder. The toes point down. We're going to swing the knee in up towards the chest. Maybe bring your nose towards your knee. And then swing forward, just so that we come into a sort of plank, quite a plank. So the shoulders over the wrists, step down. With the back knee down, we're coming all the way up into a lunge, but we're going to open up the shoulders. So very conscious shoulders at the end of the week, especially if you've been sort of sitting at a desk all week, you're going to feel it in the shoulders. So let's open up the palms, really spread the palms, open up the hands, pull the elbows back behind you, open the chest. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. But we also want a strong sense of the lower body supporting us, a strong foundation, just as we had when we were sitting. So press into the back foot, squeeze the thighs together, the inner thighs together. Press the front foot back as though it were going to beat the back foot, and then press the back thigh forward as though it is going to press against the wall in front of you. And breathe and hold this. And then we're going to come all the way down. We're stepping back into a downward dog. Reconnect with your breath. Then the left knee, breathe in. Then the right knee, breathe out. Relax the head, so we're not holding up the weight of the head at this point. Let it drop. We're going to pick up the left leg, and again visualize a boot, a heavy old boot on the end of the foot, and immediately you're going to have to work a little harder to maintain that lift. Engage the toes in the foot. Toes point down. Knees coming up and in. You'll feel a little bite in the belly. Hug it up, and then shoulders move forward over the wrists. Press the floor away. Step down into a lunge, coming up again. Nice and smooth. There's no rush coming up. Bend the elbows. So cactus arms, elbows up, shoulder height, pulling the elbows back behind you a little. Spread the fingers, lifting the chest and squeezing the shoulder blades together. Find your foundation here as well. Press into the back foot. Squeeze the front foot back towards the back foot. Press the right thigh forward. Deep breaths. And then come all the way down. Hands outside of the foot. Step back to downward dog. We're going to take a wide dog here. So bring the feet, so the little toes are off the mat. And then you can bring your hand a little closer, but both hands are going to come together. So you've got feet wide, hands very close. We're going to take a twist here, but before you do that, let's check in with our foundation. So press into the little toe edge of the foot. You can squeeze your thighs together a little, so you feel very stable in the legs. And then take your right arm, and reach for the left foot. So you're going to pull on that foot, and the foot can resist. Well, actually, I'm holding that more above the ankle, but some of you might want to hold the higher on the leg, and you're turning. But keep the legs even and steady. So the turn is upper back. And maybe your neck is not feeling too stiff, or look up. And it is quite strong on the legs, this, so do bend the knees if you need to. Connect with your breath here. You can bend the knees and breathe out. Breathe in. Straighten the legs and breathe out. Or vice versa. Ideal. Adding layers to the experience. It's not just sort of mechanical movement, it's movement harmonised with breath. We'll take the other hand, so grabbing the other leg. So keep the legs even. Press into the little toe edge, turn. You can look up under the armpit, maybe up to the ceiling if your neck allows this. Well done. So we're going to come back to downward dog. We're going to lift the right foot. We're going to hug the knee in, really lift that leg if you can, and then swing the shoulders over the wrists and step forward. We'll bring the knee down, we're going to come up, bend the elbows, so kind to your shoulders if they've been working hard this week and feel quite stiff. We're going to come up, so we're taking a high lunge, so the back heel's lifted, and then we're going to do a bit more for the upper body. So interlace your hands behind you, and let's see if we can straighten up the arms and plunge the arms down towards the floor. Roll the shoulders back and down. In a moment, we're going to turn on that back foot. So you can really lift the heel here, turn to, so the hip bones point to this long edge of your mat. Hip bones at the front here. Front knee bent, back leg straight. Then press into the little toe edge of the foot. Straighten up the right leg. Turn the toes in, so both toes point to the long edge. Both sets of toes point to the long edge. We're going to come forward, halfway. And then maybe lower, lowering down. Let your head drop. And you can lift your hands if they're comfortable. So you're in a wide-legged forward bend And the hands are going to open up. You're using the hands to open the shoulders. If your arms don't straighten in this position, don't worry about lifting them. Just work to straighten them. You know, even if it's not, feels like not much is happening. Better to work on straightening them than think about lifting them. We're releasing the hands down. We're going to take the hands all the way to the back foot, to the left foot. Bend the knee if you need to. Press down with the right hand, lift up with the left hand. So we're taking a little twist again. And then come down, move all the way to the front foot, the right foot. And then lift the right hand, press down with the left. Come down. And then we're swiveling on the feet. So both sets of feet are turning. Sorry, both feet are turning towards the front of the mat. We'll bring them back and down. Hands either side of the feet and step back into downward dog. Pressing the floor away with your hands. And just notice what's going on with your shoulders. Are they all hunched up here? You relax them. You move them away from your ears. It might mean that you need to walk your feet in a bit for that to happen. So lift the left foot. So that you can visualize that boot, that heavy old boot on the back foot. You're working quite hard to stabilize that lift of the boot. And then we're bringing the knee in, we're hugging it up, hug, hug, hug up, and the shoulders move over the wrists. We're stepping the foot forward, coming down into a lunge. We're coming all the way up, taking arms to shoulder height. So what we're thinking, everyone needs to adapt this a little bit. So for me, I'm quite happy with the elbows up quite high in line with the shoulders. But if you had, quite a lot of tension in the shoulders, you're better having the elbows lower, more of a W shape, so that you can feel opening and releasing in this part of the body around the pectoralis muscles, the front of the breast area. Sometimes, for some people, frozen shoulders and things, elbows need to be a lot lower. And really the thing that's more important is the opening here. Squeeze your shoulder blades in. We're going to come up into a standing version of this. So tuck the back toes under, lift up, but the back heel is lifted. We're taking our arms behind us. So we're going to work to straighten the arms. I'm just turning around so I can see you better when we move into warrior. So shoulders move back. So see if you can use the grip on the hands to encourage the shoulders to move back. And then down away from your ears. And the challenge is to straighten your arms here. You're not worried about lifting them at this point. Maybe squeeze your shoulder blades in as well. This is all good. It's like the beginning of a little back arch. Turn on the belly. Feel we want to feel stable in our lower body as well. So squeeze your thighs together. So we're turning on the back foot to come into warrior two. So it's a little swiveling action on the back foot. Planting that back foot, little toe edge, very much engaged, pressing down, front knee bent. You can lift your toes in the front leg if they're all squashed up. We're holding this position, sort of opening in the groin, inner thigh area here. This knee often wants to sort of swing in, so can you press out a little bit with the outer thigh? And also, this can happen, we can float down over the front leg, so can you kind of sit up a bit more? we're going to straighten the front knee. We're going to turn the feet. So both feet are pointing, or toes are pointing to the front edge of the mat. And then we're going to come forward. Keep the grip on the hands. And then maybe dropping lower. So same principle as on the other side. We're trying to keep the arms long and straight. Or if they're not long and straight, then work them to become long and straight. We're not so bothered about lifting the hands, but some of you might find that you can do both. You can straighten your arms out and lift them. So just more intense shoulder opening. And of course bend your knees if you need to. Keep working into the little toe edge of the foot. So we're going to drop the hands. Pausing here before we move on. Just relax the body, relax the face. And take our feet, hands all the way over to the right foot, back foot. Bend the knee if you need to. And lift the right hand. Maybe look up at the hand. Come all the way down and go the other way to the other foot. So, yeah, so it should, we want to release, we want to feel nice opening in the back of the legs, but not overextending. So just bend and straighten as much as you need to. We're lifting the left arm. Bring both hands downward, turning to the front of the mat. So left toes forward, back knee down. Pausing here in a lunge. And then we're going to tuck the toes under, come back to downward dog. Reconnect with your breath. So then the right knee, breathe in. Then the left knee, breathe out. Relax the head down. And the right knee, breathe in. And then the left knee, breathe out. And then the right knee, breathe in. And the left knee, breathe out. And then we're coming down into a seated position. I'm going to take a kneeling position. You could be cross-legged. So pausing now. So this, time to pause, so important. We don't allow it for ourselves. In so many areas of our life, especially after a week of work, the working day, particularly if you're desk-based, it's hard to justify taking time out, let alone time out sort of knows how you're feeling. So let's do that now. It's a luxury. Let's just close the eyes or lower the gaze. Sit back into your sitting bones, palms up. Adjust yourself so that you're not holding tension in the shoulders. Relax your jaw and your face. Bring your awareness into your hands again. A lot of sensation, I think, you will find there in what we've just done. A lot of strength for the hands, strength work for the hands and arms. So enjoy this feeling, this flood of feeling into the hands and the arms. So this is you. This is your inner life. Maybe there's heat, maybe there's moisture, a sense of moisture, maybe there's hopefully not, but maybe a little bit of discomfort, or maybe there's an emotion. Maybe there's something completely other than that, that specific to your experience. Of course, you know, I can't anticipate. So just being aware of that, sitting with that, and the feelings sometimes can be a little bit awkward to sit with those for a moment. So that do just make time for the body to fully express itself. We're going to focus a bit on our breath here. So we're taking the hands onto the lower ribs. So really sensing where the lower ribs are. We want to breathe so that there's some movement into the lower ribs without forcing it. It's the rise of the ribs, the external expansion of the ribs, breathing, and contraction of the as you breathe out. One more breath like that. And then rest the hands again. So we're going to keep focus on the lower rib area. Breathing in and out through the nose. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. So when I say deep breath in, what I'm meaning actually is a breath so that you feel these lower ribs moving. Deep breath in. And a slow breath out. So we're hoping for a longer breath out. Lingering a bit on that out breath. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. And we're going to add in a mantra. And the mantra is so hum. And the words mean I am that. And the interesting thing about this mantra is that the words are said to so and hum, said to mirror the movement of the rhythm of the in and out breath. So being slightly shorter and hum being a little bit longer. So let's begin. Breathing in, so deep breath in. Breathing out, hum. Long breath out. Breathing in, so. Deep breath in. Breathing out, hum. Breathing in, so. Breathing out, hum. Or more like that. Completely relax your breath. So we're not trying to shape it. We're going to just let it do its own thing. And I want you to just tell you a little bit more about that mantra, so hum. So it means I am that. And the philosophy, you might say, behind it is that that you and the other are sort of, there's not that barrier that we perceive in often in life, that we are little isolated atoms cut off from everyone else, but that there is this sort of sense of flow between us and the other, and practice of that mantra. So to soften the boundaries between self and other. So nice idea. We're going to come to sitting with a cross-legged position. A little bit more stuff for the shoulders here. Make sure that you can sense your sitting bones connecting. So if you need to pull the flesh out and back a little, there's a feeling of downward pressure through the sitting bones, even downward pressure. And then I'm going to take the left hand, slide it away, press back into the right sitting bone so that you're anchored. Moving into the waist, into the lower ribs. And then taking the hand up over the ear or over the head. Actually thinking that there's quite a lot of people suffering sore shoulders, even if you're not, it's a nice thing to bring the hand behind the head. So we're supporting the head here with the hand. So that means that you're not lifting quite so high. You can lift the elbow up to the ceiling and anchor through the left hand. You can take that elbow down towards the knee, around the back. And lift the elbow again and take it back behind you. Maybe the elbow can move a little bit. You can deepen into this side bend to the left, dropping down a little, or moving the hand further away. And we're releasing the hand first of all before we come up, so bring the hand down. And all the way up to centre. Pause here. Recross your legs. Reconnect through your sitting bones. You need to pull the flesh out and back. And slide the right hand away now. Anchoring through the left buttock. Lifting the left hand. Using it to support the head. Breathe into the ribs, into the waist, into the elbow. So if you feel that you've gone a bit too far, come up. If you feel like you'd like to go a little lower, you can slide further with the right hand. Anchoring through the left buttock. With the elbow. Take it back behind you maybe, and then down towards the knee or floor. Try to make space in the left side. Feel the breath moving into those lower ribs, maybe into the waist as well. Coming out, so release the hand, come back, rest your hands, palms open on the legs. Come back to the sense of the hands. So it's not that the hands are more important than any other part of the body, it's just a technique for focusing, it's just a tool for helping you redirect your mind, your attention away from stresses of work or whatever has preoccupied you this week, for good or for bad, so that you've got that skill of being able to go into more neutral. neutral awareness. We're going to take the we're keeping the right leg bent. We're straightening the left leg. We're going to place our hands on the right side. We're tucking the toes of the right foot under. Sorry, yeah, left foot under. Sorry, getting confused with my left and right. And we're going to lift the hips a little, press the floor away. We're coming into pigeon, so the right knee is moving towards the right wrist, and the right foot is moving towards the left wrist. And then hopefully you can come to a point where you can rest the body down and bring the leg flat to the floor. So if this is very uncomfortable, you could use something to prop up the right buttock. So you could put a cushion or something under the right buttock. We're going to come low. So we're going to sort of sink into this. So you're not having to really do anything here to hold your body up. Let the head completely rest. You can put it onto the hands. Support the head with your hands if you need to. So it's more of a resting pose. We're not doing anything so much here. We're trying to relax the body. But there's a lot going on. Because of the nature of how we're holding the body. So we've set ourselves up to really open the hips here. So really connecting with your breath will help you with those intense feelings that come up in the hips, buttocks. Now, if you're not getting any sensation, it may be that for you need to take this foot, move it higher up the mat. Equally, if it's just a bit too much for you, you can shuffle the foot lower down the mat. So really, the idea of synchronicity, bringing the breath very much into play with how we hold ourselves here. So the deep breath in into those lower ribs, nourishing the cells. Deep breath out, letting go. So thinking, you're weak at work. No doubt there's been some aggravation, some frustration, some lingering worry or doubt. Very, very common for most of us. So with those out breaths, those long lingering out breaths, letting go. Going to come up. So there's this is a little bit of a back arch. So the hands palms come back towards the hips. If you're feeling pinching in the lower back as you do this, then stay lower. Don't have the hands so close. And or really, really engage the belly so that you can feel the lower belly. Tap it a little bit if it helps. Pull up and away, and that will activate the sort of girdle that protects the lower back. And there is, we want to sort of be aware of the shoulders here, so you can roll the shoulders back and down, squeeze the shoulder blades in a little. So there's a feeling of space between the ear and the shoulders, top of the shoulders, all scrunched up and tense. So we'll just tuck the toes under a little. I like that little technique push out through the heel, wake up the back leg a little bit here. And then we're going to come out. So we're going to do that by rolling onto the buttock. So we're rolling right onto that buttock, right buttock, and then we're going to bend the left foot. So our torso is turning more towards the long edge of the mat, and we're pressing you need to adjust a little bit to get comfortable, leaning into the right hand. So we're working into this front thigh. So if this is easy, you can move the knee back and press the thigh forward. If it's tough, if it's feeling really intense, then just loosen the grip on the leg and maybe bring the knee forward. So again, using those out breaths. I mean, the function of the out breath actually is elimination. It is, detox, taking all the impurities from the body, releasing them through the breath. But also, obviously, we have other parts of the body that do that as well, the skin as well. But yeah, very, very important function of the breath. So letting go. I'm going to come into a forward bend. So I'm going to take that left leg. I'm going to bring it in front of us. The right foot can come right up into the thigh or lower on the leg, if that's better for your knees. And you could pad up under the knee if you're uncomfortable at all. Activate this front foot, this left foot, and we're sitting up. So you can bring your fingertips to the floor, roll the shoulders back, sitting up, long, shoulders down, crown of the head, upright. And then we're going to come forward. Just, that could be a small movement or a big movement. It's not important actually, really how low you go. What is good and important is you get a real nice deep release into the front leg, the left leg. And a nice sense of lengthening in the spine. And once again, connect with your breath. That in-breath, replenishing after a week. There's a bit of feeling depleted sometimes after a week at work. So in through the nose, replenishing into these lower airways, deep, revitalizing breath. That is the function of the breath. And on that out breath, letting go. Not just the breath, but everything, that's cluttering up your head at the moment. If you enjoy, if you love this pose and you want to hold the foot, go for it. You can hold the foot. If that feels like a good thing to do, just make sure you're not grabbing the foot and bringing tension in. We're trying to take that tension out of the shoulders. So find a way of holding yourself, your body, without adding tension to the body. We're going to come up. We're going to take a cross-legged position. So bring that left leg in front. Reconnect through the sitting bones to the ground. We won't spend long here, but we do want to be committed to this seat. So do sit back properly. Let the weight of your body drop. We're not just rushing on to the next thing, which happens in life, doesn't it, generally? And definitely it happens in yoga as well. And now this and now that. But it's the weekend, it's Friday, way of being to one side for now. So we're going to come into pigeon on this left side. So keeping the left leg bent, straightening up the right leg, hands down to the left side, come onto the ball of the back foot, and we're shuffling. I spend a little bit of time moving into this, so you can lift up the hips quite high and kind of adjust. Maybe come up and down, so you're kind of holding your weight still to come into your pigeon. You want to be able to relax here. So do come all the way down. Support your head. Do that with a cushion or make fists with your hands. Deep breaths in. Slow breaths out. Letting go with the out breath. So you can start with simply relaxing the body more. That's one way of letting go. So if you're holding tension around your jaw, can you soften the jaw and the tongue as well? I'm going to come up onto the fingers when you're ready. So, fingertips is good because you just got a bit more room than if your palms are down. So, and hopefully that with that extra room, you can kind of roll the shoulders back and down. Remember that the lower belly, pull it up and back. Really do work the belly in this. So definitely no pinching in the lower back. If you're feeling uncomfortable, come lower and reactivate the belly. Soften the face. So we're going to come out, and to do that, let's just tuck the toes of the back foot under. And that's nice, because then it's slightly more active in the back leg. You can push out through the heel, you can feel a good stretch in the back leg. And press into the hands, lift up a little bit. So we're going to come to sitting on the left buttock, and then we're going to bend the right leg. We're going to grab the foot, lean into the left hand, sort of relax here. Keep the shoulders quite relaxed. We don't want to, nothing that we do should justify adding tension to the shoulders. And if this is great and you're loving it and you're feeling a delicious stretch in the front thigh, then maybe take the knee back a bit. That helps you go deeper. Those the function of the breath, and this is just the science of breath, is that we're revitalizing every cell with the in-breath. We're eliminating toxins on the out-breath. So literally, letting go of all the baggage, unwanted. But that could be mental stuff as well, emotional as well. We're going to come into a forward bend. So release the foot and bring it in front. Before we even think about coming forward, we're going to sit back and sit up. Your fingertips to the floor to help you, so you're lightly pressing down to sit up. Crown of the head is upright, so we're not dropping forward with the head. And we're coming forward when you're ready, and it might just be very minimal movement. Very, very subtle. Particularly if you're wanting to focus more meditatively on the breath, keep it really subtle. That can be very rewarding. We've had a whole week of work where you're constrained by timetables and deadlines, so not the time to be grabbing and pushing yourself towards holding that front foot. Unless it just feels very natural and comfortable to do so, then of course you can do that. But if that happens, if you reach the foot, do make sure you're not adding tension in to this pose. You want to roll the shoulders back and down. Softening around the face and the jaw, the tongue. Deep breaths in, slow breaths out. Bring your mantra in here, the Soham. If you enjoy that and if you find that useful, another way to dissolve the stiff or rigid boundaries. So we hold ourselves rigidly. So you'll notice that in the shoulders especially. But we have rigid ideas about ourselves as well. So that mantra is a way of softening the identity to some extent. We're going to come up. So if you're holding the foot, release it. We'll bring the soles of the feet together. We'll take a Shavasana in a moment, but I just wanted to show you a little bit of acupressure that is very restorative, very suitable for, if you've had a challenging sort of week. So find your medial malleolus. So the medial malleolus is the ankle bone, the inner ankle bone. So just demonstrate this area here. And you're going to bring press your four fingers together. You're going to bring them on top of the ankle bone. So 4 finger widths. So we're trying to find a point that is 4 finger widths above the ankle bone. So if you take your 4 fingers, rest them from the top of the bone, and then you'll come into this point here, which is on the, so first of all, find the bone, and then slide your thumb back just into the fleshy area behind the bone. And it's a very good sort of restorative point for calming everything down. It's a yin point. Yin, very powerful yin point. So yin is more the cooling, calming energy. Yang is like all the upward, manic sort of, very good and useful at times, but definitely not sort of restful energy. So find that point. If you're not feeling it, don't worry. It's, sometimes it's a bit subtle, but very often it is quite tender. So another way to find this is to find the bone at just below the knee, so the shin bone, and press into the fleshy part of the body just behind the bone, so towards the back of the leg. So right on the bone, and then slide your thumbs back, and then you can kind of slide your thumbs all the way down towards the ankle bone. And very often this whole area can be really, really tender. So cooling point nurturing. It's a spleen point. It's called 3 yin meetings. So it's where 3 channels in the body, 3 important channels, the liver, the kidney, the spleen come together. We don't want to overwork it. So if it is quite sore, just bring the palms of the hands, gently press in there. The only thing to bear in mind is if you were pregnant, I don't think that's the case with any of you, but yeah, just to ease off. It's not for the early stages of pregnancy. And we're going to take our hands now up to the sternum. So you'll feel the bone of the sternum, the chest bone, and then slide the fingers down. And then you'll find a little cavity at the bottom of the breastbone. If you need to adjust your sitting position to be more comfortable, then do that now. And we're just going to lightly press in through the fingertips into this little cavity. Imagining we're opening it up lightly, just very lightly. Sort of visualize light coming in. It's called the Sea of Tranquility, or the Sea of Qi. Very much a point for calming the mind. Pausing here. Softening the face, the jaw, the shoulders, the throat. And the breath as well. So we do want those deep breaths, but not forcing it. If there is a tendency maybe to labour a little bit with your breath, let go of that. And now we will come to lie on our backs. So I'm hoping you've got a real nice chilled out vibe. So let's move very smoothly. We're coming into Shavasana. Move very, very smoothly. No jerky movements. Taking that sense of peace with us into our Shavasana. And as we were talking about, just as we were talking about it at the beginning of the class, this idea of the eyes having this very, very stimulating role for the brain. So perhaps a little bit of cloth over the eyes or an eye cushion would be a nice way to relax that area and to relax the mind. Or if not, very consciously softening. Laying the body down, slowly, reverently. Very much attention to how we position the body, just so that you can be very comfortable here. So remembering the shoulders, we've been doing a bit of work on the shoulders, so that if you're lying down and your shoulders are all hunched up, that's not a great place to begin your Shavasana. So can you kind of roll the shoulders back and down? Move the tops of the shoulders down away from the ears. You can squeeze even a little your shoulder blades. So one way to do that is take that bent arm position a little bit and squeeze in, and then relax the hands down. So allowing the body to be heavy, committing to rest, committing the whole body to rest. Head and torso heavy. arms and legs heavy. Nothing to do, nothing to prove here. And, after a week of work, that is a bit challenging to take yourself into not doing. Then you can think about the amazing sort of value of recharging the body, and even in the realm of high performance, there's so much value based on resting. Optimum resting. Become aware of the body breathing. Just without your participation, as though the universe were breathing the body. You can surrender to that sense of the universe moving through you. Enjoy that feeling. I'm going to leave you now to rest a little longer. So I will end the session, but you can stay for as long as you need to in your Shavasana. It's Friday night. Opportunity, no better time for rest, no, very well deserved as well. Just falling back now into that deep place of rest.